Psychology was. He was either egomaniacal or megalomaniacal. But something was screwy with the guy. And he also said, you know, you guys have got to sing and you got to play like we say to do it. Just get a grip, pal. This is not an enforceable covenant.
The scene was set for a showdown between the disgruntled Monkees and their creative master, Don Kirshner. It was to take place at the Beverly Hills Hotel and change forever the fortunes of the band.
I remember it quite clearly. We showed up at Beverly Hills Hotel. Donnie Kirshner was there with a guy named Herb Moelis, who was a lawyer. They presented us with gold records and a huge check. Hey guys, basically what they were saying was just shut up and take the money.
I walk in with 4 checks for $250,000 for each of the boys, and I bring them a dub of Sugar Sugar, okay?
Don, nobody likes this music that you're making over here. I don't like it. The other guys didn't like it. What's going on with you? You're trying to create an empire or something here for yourself. Just back off.
Mike said, we're not going to do that piece of junk, Sugar Sugar. Too bubblegum, too sappy, too pop. I'm not going to say, Sugar Sugar, you're my candy girl, you know? And I don't blame for Herb to saying, hey, fellas, you want to get cute with us? We have a contract. We can kick you out of the studio. We'll use 4 other guys. Don't tell me what you're going to do.
The contract. Let me see that.
He wagged the contract at me, and he said, well, you've got a contract, and this is the contract that you've got. And I smashed my fist through the wall. I said, yeah, well, that could have been your face, but...
Mike put his fist through a wall, which he really did. He actually, it's only chalkboard in California. And he said to this lawyer guy, if I'm not mistaken, he said, that could have been your face, motherfucker.
With artistic differences having reached such a critical point, it was clear there could be only one outcome from the meeting.
I knew that my relationship with the Monkees was over. You don't disrespect the guy that has just made you a millionaire, that's broke his back, spent 5 months in the studio, working day and night, flying in from New York, okay, and is right all the time. You know, that's not to pat myself on the back, that's in the history books. You know, I didn't think it was civil, and to tell you the truth, I never wanted to work with him again. It was over.
Mister, you give your whole life for a company, and then they just toss you aside. Look, I'm sorry, huh?
Don Kirshner knew what the 14-year-old girls wanted to hear because he had a 14-year-old heart and mind himself. He had also the emotional responsiveness of a 14-year-old. When we said, we want to do this, he went, I'm taking my ball and going home. And that was that.
What Don Kirshner did was take manufactured pop to a new level, creating a very different band to sing his worldwide hit, Sugar Sugar.
I said to myself, you know, I want a group that doesn't talk back. So I created the Archies, you know, and did an animated show on television. Al sold the Monkees. We sold 10 million and had a group that didn't talk back to me.
Okay. All right, guys, now listen, this is what we've been working on. See if you can pick this up, Mickey.
With Don Kirshner gone, the Monkees had the chance to become a real band and went back into the studio to record their own songs for their 3rd album.
You like it?
You don't?
That's
terrible. That's the worst thing.
Thanks very much, fellas. My second.
But while Headquarters topped the American charts, it did so for just 1 week. The public, it seemed, preferred the music of the manufactured Monkees.
She's a wonderful lady and she's mine, all mine. And there doesn't seem a way that she won't come and lose my mind. It's too easy humming songs.
Here's a rare instance where a group decided to take less. They could have had more, But Nesmith and Tork in particular were willing to take less if they could authentically express what they felt in their music.
Why don't you cut your hair? Why don't you live up there? Why don't you do what I do, see what I feel when I care? Now they've taught
So what if it did fall off? They were happier. Maybe sometimes you have to compromise and give up, you know, the commercial number one in order to be a more satisfied artist doing number two.
Why don't you cut your hair? Why don't you live up there? Why don't you do what I do, see what I feel when I care?
But creative control cost the Monkees more than commercial success. Tensions within the band were emerging and frequently raging out of control.
There was always punch-ups going on. The only punch-up that never happened was between me and Mike Nesmith. But those punch-ups, you know, he got a couple of them by the throat a few times, you know. And yeah, Mickey and I had a little tussle once in a while, and Peter and I certainly did on the set. You know, he said something to me, and I, you know, gave him the Manchester kiss, you know what I mean? And so, bing!
Boom! And knocked me backwards. Next thing I know, there's a bunch of people holding me and a bunch of people holding Davey. And I get an arm loose, and I reach around the guys, and I give him one.
The fight that had held them together, which was to be a real group, had sort of unglued them. And the music that they made just got more and more idiosyncratic.
Now Mike wanted to be producer. Mickey wanted to direct some shows. Peter, you know, wasn't happy with the take in the studio. When you're dealing with three other people with different ideas, you've got to keep collective ideas, you know, and that was, I could see more than anything, the breakup of it.
As four strangers who had only been brought together to act in a TV show, it was obvious there was little to bind the Monkees together. And with doubts being raised about the shelf life of their program, the future was bleak.
I remember that there was talk about doing a third year of the series. I remember, you know, vaguely thinking, oh, I don't know, you know, it's kind of getting old now. So I think there was the general feeling it's time to move on.
It basically is imploding. At the same time as it's imploding, they come up with their greatest creative expression, which is Head.
With the TV show over and record sales plummeting, producer Bob Rafelson wanted to use the feature film Head to breathe life back into the Monkees. And to help him, he brought along an old pal.
One day, Bob Rafelson brought this guy on the set named Jack Nicholson. And he said, I want this guy to be involved in our movie.
Then an unknown B-movie actor, Jack Nicholson was about to become involved in the dramatic and bitter endgame of the Monkees. As they prepared for their roles in the movie Head, the Monkees were also enjoying the creative control they had secured over their own music. But it was the Monkee movie, not the music, that was occupying the thoughts of producers Bob Rafelson and Bert Schneider. For them, Head had always been part of the master plan.
Listen to the band.
Both Bert and I were interested in making feature pictures. That's what we had joined together to do. And Bert said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I actually want to make a feature with the Monkees.
Having been asked by Bob Rafelson to get involved in the movie, Jack Nicholson set about writing the screenplay.
I remember Jack because he'd come over to my house, we'd go out, we'd party. What he was doing, obviously, was like soaking up everything Monkee, everything about the Monkees. And obviously, he and Bob had a plan.
The plan for Bob Rafelson and Jack Nicholson was to use the Monkees movie to launch their own film careers. But tensions over money between the band and Rafelson meant the production got off to an acrimonious start.
Yeah, but about hitting a woman and everything.
First day of shooting, they had been taken over by a new manager. And that manager tried to hold them back from shooting the picture until he got a better deal. So I went across the street and went into the negotiator's office and shook hands with the manager and took him by the hand and then threw him down 3 flights of stairs and said, "The fucking picture's canceled, motherfucker, get off the lot. It's over. The Monkees are finished and so are you."
After bitter negotiations, Bob Rafelson and the band agreed to finish their movie. But the close relationship between the Monkees and the men who created them had suffered lasting damage.
All these little fissures and cracks starting to develop within the Monkees story during that movie and the making of the movie, and then it comes right on the screen. You see the Monkees sort of coming apart right before your eyes.
If you name a film Head, it's gonna tank. What does the movie title even mean? What does the movie mean? If you look at it closely, it means the end of the Monkees' career, basically, at the time.
As the film bombed, the Monkees went into freefall. But for Bob Rafelson and Bert Schneider, Head successfully kicked off their movie careers. Shortly afterwards, they produced the cult film Easy Rider and left the Monkees far behind.
I always wanted the Monkees to succeed. I wanted them to endure. And I never doubted for a moment that that would not be the case. Some wanted to stay as part of a group, some wanted to have individual careers. But whatever they did, I wanted for them to be happy doing it and for them to do it well. I like the Monkees. I have fond memories of what we did and the madness of the 60s.
I don't have a tremendous amount of respect for Bert Schneider and Bob Rafelson because of the way they treated us after the project was finished. I feel they abandoned our careers. They used us as much as they could. But it's up to me, you know, to go after an acting role that instead of saying, you know, it ruined my acting career and I could have been doing other things. No. So maybe it's up to me to go forward instead of just, you know, backpedaling to the past.
Cheer up, sleepy Jean. What can it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen?
I think the Monkees have endured over the last 40 years because they're the perfect group. They were 4 guys off the street from nowhere, become successful, all this crazy stuff happens to them. They smash the system, then the system smashes them, and here they are. They're still around to tell the story.
Mike Nesmith no longer likes to talk about his days as a Monkee. Today, he is a multimedia entrepreneur and a multi-millionaire based in California.
Hello. Hi.
Today, Peter Tork lives in Connecticut, but is on the road regularly with his band, Shoe Suede Blues. Like the other Monkees, over the years, he's carried the burden of living with a famous face.
Nothing happened. I mean, it's, you know, I'm an alcoholic. And I was blessed enough to be able to get the other thing, which is recovery, sobriety. And I haven't found it necessary to drink or take a drug in over 25 years.
Yay!
Look what happened to Peter. He's sober. Look what happened to Peter. He's a pretty cheerful guy these days. Look what happened to Peter. Isn't it a shame? He's sober and cheerful. I don't know, man. Wow.
After the Monkees, Mickey Dolenz carved out a successful career behind the camera as a producer and director.
And here's the Wall of Shame.
But today he's returned to his roots and is an actor once again.
And there's Jack. And, oh, that's Paul. That's me at the Monterey Pop Festival. In my case, I just got off the train. And that's a great feeling. Not that I have anything against the Monkees, but that was great when I realized that I had just naturally sort of moved on. Sonny and Cher, Sammy Davis Jr., I was a big fan of. And so I never really had that problem of having to sing those songs. And they don't care about your new material. They don't want to hear, and this is one I just wrote. Yeah, shut up and just sing your hit, you know? Well, I never went through that.
Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what
The story of the Monkees may have ended acrimoniously, but their manufactured pop songs have lasted long past their sell-by date, and Davy Jones continues to fly their flag.
cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what daddy.
I can't see the Monkees ever being together again as an act on the stage. But you know, in a lot of people's minds, we're still together. We're still those four guys living on the beach. If that's what it's going to take to satisfy the four of us, then we should leave it the way it is, you know? Leave good enough alone. Son, leave good enough alone.
Okay. Let's hear it one more time for Davy Jones.
Well, I married a wife in the month of June, married her by the light of the moon. We lived down on Cripple Creek. We've been down there about a week. I'm going down to Cripple Creek, I'm going on a run. I'm going down to Cripple Creek to have a little fun. Going down to Cripple Creek, I'm going in a whirl. I'm going down to Cripple Creek to see my girl.
That's all, folks.